So normally this is where I do a sponsorship, but I thought I would give you guys a little bonus episode as a thank you for all of the stuff that happened at Springfest 2019. People were super nice, came up, said hi. Also, I didn't really want to cram it in as, with the Progenitor Dragons episode. I feel like it deserved its own thing. That said, it's going to be shorter than a normal episode, but hooray, free bonus for you guys. Okay, bye. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night. Again, it's your first ever, and probably only ever, unless we get paid to do this someday, bonus episode. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And so, last weekend, April 27th and 28th, there was a regional in Anaheim, California. That was Springfest 2019. I went to it to go play in the team tournaments for both Standard and Premium, which were the Saturday and Sunday. And I thought I would give you guys a little tournament report because literally no one else from our channel, podcast, whatever went. It was me and a couple of friends. Richard, Miles, and Jose, their ride fell out from under them. And Dave is in New York, and you guys are in different parts of the country. So that's
cool. You can't prove that.
We could be standing right behind you right now.
Hello.
I mean, considering the way my room is shaped, you guys would be like banging your head on the angled ceiling because
I do that anyway. I do that anyway in your room, no matter where I am.
Why? Because you're that tall.
I'm not even that tall. That's the problem.
Oh, the thing where the one time you crashed at my place for a few days, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then you got like a weird talking to about leaving the toilet seat up.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that's I remember that every time I go into a bathroom and see the toilet seat up. I'm like, man, I'm glad my mom isn't here. Okay, anyway, so I, for once, we've done tournament reports like this before, but I, for once, took detailed notes about all of my games on both days because, for once, I did my job properly.
Wow.
Now, we're going to go through this standard first, then premium. So for day one, which was standard, there were 266 teams, so multiply by that by 3, you get at least that many people in the convention center hall. For my team, they're in seat A, there was my friend Vince, who was playing Murakumo, and seat B was my friend Sophie, who, if you watch the Nexus Core YouTube channel, did the 50-minute deck profile for Angel Feather.
Phew.
Great gal. And then there was me in seat C with Great Nature. So, round one, going into this, I put the people where they were, because in my head, I thought that having seat A was like for meta picks, seat B was mid-range, and seat C was like your out there decks, and I was completely wrong. And you're about to see why. So round one, we get a win. Vince loses to Neo Nectar because Neo Nectar gets a 6 damage heal on him. Looking good, fellas. Sophie won with Angel Feather against Gold Paladin, which pretty damn awesome. And I won against Angel Feather because I am Great Nature and cannot be stopped, and that it's Angel Feather. If I remember from my game correctly, it's I got the Hamstay Ride Chain and then proceeded to Leopold him to death.
Wow,
which,
skillful.
Skillful indeed. All right, round two, we lose because Vince lost to Shadow Paladin, which makes complete sense because he's Murakumo. And sitting on Gust Blaster or Phantom Blaster Dragon doesn't really hurt that much. And then Sophie lost to Oracle Think Tank in time because it's 2 protect decks against each other.
Yep.
Looking good, fellas. And then I beat Murakumo. If I remember from that one, it was close because I was stuck on Hamstay for about 3 turns. So I was mostly just throwing things onto the board and trying to kill him that way. Not much else to that. Round 3, we lost again. So Vince loses to Link Joker, which are deleters, not the, no Cyber Dragons, deleters. I don't think he really had much of a chance there, doing Shirayuki and all that stuff. Sophie lost to Shadow Paladin because she whiffed G-Assist, which is unfortunate. And then I beat Mega Colony because why was I playing against Mega Colony?
Right, nobody knows. Question.
Yes.
Is it still G-Assist with no G-Zone?
It's V-Assist technically, but I think it just became like shorthand or just became part of the colloquialism to just call it G-Assist.
I see.
Yeah. Mega Colony got, like, I honestly thought I was going to have trouble with Mega Colony because I'm like, I forgot how to play against this. As it turns
then you
out,
realize they don't do anything.
yeah, there's nothing to play against. You just do the game normally and you win. Also, he never rode Spark Hercules. Like, he kept having to ride Stag Beetles to, like, do anything. And then he got I saw one Spark Hercules in damage, and that was it. So, who knows?
Unfortunate.
Now, at this point, you would be thinking, why didn't we drop? Because, in general, if you go X2, your chances of getting top 8 are kind of nothing at all. I wanted to keep playing because this is going to make me sound like an asshole. I was undefeated at that point, and I wanted to see how far we could go. Am I a bad person? I was like,
That is the most legitimate reason to do anything ever.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm 3-0. I'm like, come on, guys, let's keep going. And they're like, yeah, but we're not going to top. I'm like, first off, there's, all of our friends from college and from Toy Mandala are locals, and various other people we know are here. We can hang out with them. We can do side events. So why not just? And they're like, fine. So they stuck around because they're nice. Now, round 4, we get a win. Vince loses to Dimension Police. Now you may notice that Vince is the opposite of undefeated. He's defeated the whole time. He's lost all of his games so far. Sophie beats Murakumo because she knows how to play against it, and I beat Angel Feather because, of course, it's another Angel Feather.
Yeah, what else would it be?
Yeah, I'm wondering why my idea of, all right, meta pick first, then mid-range, then Black Sheep was just not true in this case. Do you guys have any ideas as to why that could be?
Because what it really is everyone is just whatever deck people want to play, and they don't really care about order.
Yeah.
You care about order much more than the average team.
It's not that they cared, it's that I cared, and that I am...
Exactly. No one else has this metric. So that's why it doesn't make sense.
The only reason I thought this existed was I remember entering like a regional like very, very late G-era. This is like right after Bermuda Triangle came out and started to overtake everything. I was put on the C seat on a team with Pale Moon. I was like, look, guys, I'm not good at this. Like, this is Pale Moon. This is the era of like Zeroth Dragons and Bermuda Triangle. I am not meta. And they're like, just do your best, okay? So I ended up playing against all the wacky shit because I was the C seat. And then I was looking at what they were playing, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a thing that people do. As it turns out, not everybody thinks like that, like you said. So,
yeah.
Yep, that's life. All right, round 5, nobody shows up. We win by default. Round 6, we win. Vince beats Murakumo, so he gets his first win of the day.
In the mirror.
In the mirror match, which I guess is like the like Star Wars Conquer Yourself scene.
Did he win the die roll?
I don't know. I was like, he's A, I'm C. There's Sophie in between us. I can't really see what's going on. Yeah, Sophie loses to Great Nature because Excel versus Protect, and I mean, granted, she's played against me a fair bit and knows how the deck works. I'm guessing it's just he hit all the rides and then that's it. I play my first Forest Clan of the day. I beat Neo Nectar because the guy whiffed G-Assist twice. And that has nothing to do with my skills as a player. That is just the guy whiffed.
No, I think it's very skillful to stack your opponent's deck so they whiff G-Assist.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Your gaming chair.
I'm just kidding.
Way to throw doubt onto your fellow co-host. This is hurting your credibility too.
No, Alice is not nearly skilled enough to do that. Don't worry.
That's true. I'm far too dumb for this. Now, round 8, we lose because, and this was the last round of the day before the cut to top 8. Vince loses to Neo Nectar. Sophie again loses to Great Nature, and I beat Angel Feather because course I do.
So that's Angel Feathers you beat that on that day?
Yep. I played all Protect decks except for one Excel deck in Murakumo in round 2, and the one Neonectar who whiffed twice.
Amazing.
Yeah. So if this was a singles day, I would be in the top 8, no questions asked, but it wasn't. So we ended that day with 5 wins and 3 losses, and I looked and we got 70th place.
Amazing.
70th, at least we cracked the top 100. That's
266. Something. Not bad.
I mean, that's not counting people who drop and stuff.
Yeah.
So, whatever. That was... I felt personally like, yeah. And then Vince and Sophie were like, this sucks. And I'm like, I completely understand, but also, I want to defeat it.
Now, how about day 2 in premium format?
Well, before I get into that, I wanted to just talk about the rest of the day. So there were 3 vendors. They had a very poor selection of singles. I'm not going to say who they are. They had a lot of boxes and sleeves, which was cool, and a Persona 5 mat that Vince drooled over for a little bit. I'll go ahead and put that on the Instagram because I took a picture of it to show to him, and he was like, want. He didn't end up buying it, though. And then the side event was just free fight like usual. I think that free fight is dumb in that, so after every fight, you have to go back up with the sheet, and they have to sign off on it. And if you do you do the 3, you get the promo. But you can't be playing standard and premium at the same time. You have to finish standard, then finish premium to get the stamp. So I ended up losing out on the premium free fight promo for that reason. So, yeah, eat a dick side events, I guess. As well, unlike Kara Expo 2018, they were so goddamn fast with keeping the rounds moving. You know how when you go to a regional and it gets to, you're at round 7 and the sun has set already?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I vaguely remember.
So... we were done, we were in top 8 by 3 p.m., which is crazy to me, and I love that they do that, and shout out to Bushiroad for keeping it brisk. So, alright, day 2, it's 172 teams, so we have dropped from nearly 100 teams from one day to the next. So in I learned from yesterday, Seat A, you have me with Great Nature. Seat B is Vince with Link Joker, so he's using Deleter Messiah. And Seat C is Sophie with Grand Blue. Now you're wondering, how come nobody's playing anything meta? It's because we suck. So, yeah. I had the choice between Great Nature and Premium Nubatama, which was objectively the better pick meta-wise, but I did not know the deck as well. So I went with something that I have... more knowledge of, and that was the same choice for Vince and Sophie and their choices. I could have just given Nubatama to Sophie or something, but she knew Grand Blue well, Vince knew Link Joker well, so we're like, fuck it, let's just see how far we go. Round 1, we play against our friends, and friend of the pod who has been on episodes before, Donna and David, and their friend Henry. So we go up against them first round, and you know how in, card game anime where you're like, oh no, I have to play my friend in top 16 or something. This was round 1.
But little did we know, you were not the main character.
Yeah, we were not the main characters because we lost that round. So I'm playing against Henry, who's using Aqua Force. Now, I get the win because I Zoa Mana Rhino'd him, or Zoa Monoculus Rhino'd him to death. But that would have changed. So I forgot the name of the card, but there's a 6K that you can Soul Blast and bind the top card of your deck. And then when you're attacked, you can call any cards in Bind Zone to guard with.
That card.
Yeah, so he forgot to do that on his previous turn. And when I hit him with the Rhino on the next turn, his damage was a draw PG. So if he had remembered to do that, he would have bound a draw PG and then been able to guard with that from Bind Zone, because that gets around the Rhino and Monoculus restriction.
That is so random and narrow that worked out that way.
I know, right? It was one of those things where I was like, oh man, if he had just waited, or in this case done something, that I wouldn't have gone into Zoa and might not have won that game, because I did it almost as a panic button, because I was like, shit, this is not going to go on much longer. So tragedy for Henry, but victory for the other other 2/3 of that team. Vince in Seat B went up against David and his Spike brothers. Shout out to Living Proof. So he loses because David goes into Hellheart 8, and Vince during this manages to pull off a double miracle heal.
If only that mattered against All Heart 8.
I know. So his last last 5 damage were draw, heal. Like the heals was 5 and 6, and then
like it just doesn't.
Yeah, it just didn't matter. It was like, and like Vince had like stuff. He was like trying to in a G Garden lock things, and he was like, "Man, fuck this, I don't care." And then just
Hellheart just never ends.
Ridiculous. And he was like, he was pulling these things out on like double force markers, so it was just getting more and more ridiculous as it went on. I was like, well, Vince is going to lose. Let's see how Sophie's doing. Look over to Sophie versus Donna with Oracle Think Tank. And Donna knows Oracle Think Tank very, very well. And though the game dragged out for a long time, Donna managed to pull out the win. I believe also Sophie had to ride Skull Dragon, so that probably didn't help her much. So we're X1, and the 1 is David and Donna, and we will catch up with them later. But round 2, we get the win. So I play against Kagero, and I win because I run a little card called Omniscience Dragon Afunk, which it's a stride, you counterblast, turn a card face up, pick any number of rear guards, and they get red text, this unit cannot be retired this turn. And then Afunk gets plus 4k for every card you selected. Now, the reason I run this card is literally for the Kagero matchup, because I like to be able to stand things over and over. So the turn I went into Afunk, I had Crayon Tiger and Big Belly and a couple other things that I was attacking him with, and he had 2 G-guards in his hand that he had to waste, because in order to guard properly, he had to use Absalom on my Vanguard, and he had to use Denial Griffin without using the skill. So
amazing.
Yeah, so I'm attacking with an otter or something, and he goes Denial. He looks at Denial Griffin, looks at Afunk, puts away Denial Griffin, pulls out Defeat Flare, puts the Defeat Flare on the board, pulls out the 2 grade 3s, reads Afunk again, puts it back down, puts Defeat Flare back, looks at Denial Griffin again, and then just begrudgingly puts it down, and he's like...
Your opponent must be thinking, who the fuck plays this card?
Exactly. He was visibly salty, and I don't blame him at all, because I had gotten Denial Griffin so many times by everybody who ever played Kagero at UCR that I put this one tech in out of spite, and it served me quite well. Yes.
Imagine getting rewarded for your spite.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time it's just a thing I turn up with what's his face, Ballot Earl. So, it still serves some kind of purpose outside of that. But in the meantime, it was just, mwah.
Right.
Hooray for personal attacks. All right, Vince is up against another Link Joker. So you have Messiah Deleter versus Messiah Deleter. Yeah, you can guess how that went. I'm going to lock my stuff and lock your stuff, but I'm going to unlock my stuff and lock your stuff. But I'm going to do that and go back and forth and back and forth. And Vince just managed to pull out the win because he managed to ride Greydall 2 turns in a row, so he deleted the guy 2 turns in a row.
Gross.
And got the win that way. Sophie also got a win against Nubatama because I taught Sophie about the ruling with Shiranui Rene and the Protect gifts. Now... the way that works is Shiranui Rene makes you call cards from your hand and then dominates them to attack your Vanguard. If you choose the Protect gift for this skill, it fizzles out because the Protect gift cannot be called as a rear guard, so it just stays in your hand. And she had to call a judge to rectify this because her opponent was like, well, wait, don't you just discard them? And she's like, no. Judge. And then... Judge shows up and explains it, and then she proceeds to take that and shove his face in it. So hooray for Sophie. Gets a win against Nubatama. Round 3. I go against Gold Paladin. Now, the second I see... when he was shuffling, he flashed me part of a card, and I could clearly see Bowmane. I was like, shit. He won the dice roll while this is going on, too. So I'm like, that's it. I'm screwed. I'm dead. Stand-up Vanguard. It is not... Crimson Lion Cub Kirf from BTO6. It's Crimson Lion Cub Kirf from V Extra Booster 3.
What a fool.
So he went first, and he got extra Excel circles. He did not, uh, get the first
Smash
stride
your
because
face
you
in?
wrote it from And I asked him what happened. Where's the OG Kirf? And he goes, well, I bought the deck like piecemeal online, and the guy sent me the deck with just like new Kirf and not old Kirf. I was like,
Oh my
you poor
god.
bastard. So you decided to play it anyway? He was like, yeah, I looked around before the tournament, but nobody had it. I'm like,
Fair.
oof.
Poor guy.
God, yeah, I felt so bad for the guy. I mean, like, the game didn't go badly. It was just that it should have been a total victory, or at least close to it for him, and it wasn't.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
When I told Richard, editor for the YouTube channel and resident Gold Paladin quote expert, he goes, "You are the luckiest man in the universe," and I go, "Yes, I am."
You play against the one Gold Paladin player who just doesn't have the card.
The one Gold Paladin player in California who couldn't track down OG Kirf or just didn't have the time to, which my heart goes out to that guy because that is a shitty situation to be saddled with. Vince goes up against Oracle Think Tank and Ichi-Tom, not Gize, and proceeds to win, I'm guessing. I never really got a good look at his game, so I can't really provide a lot of details. I'm just going to say that Vince is good at Vanguard, maybe? Or double crit him. I don't know. Sophie lost against Nubatama because she G-assisted twice for grade 1 and didn't get it. And as we all know, Nubatama can still do things without, before stride. Yeah, did not go well for her. So I'm like, great, we're X1 going into round 4. I think we can do this. Well, this is where things took a turn for the worse. I played against Angel Feather Gize, which I knew about Gize. I knew that you're supposed to rush it because triggers don't add power and that they're going to damage deny you. But I still ended up losing because I thought that Gize's skill to auto-damage the opponent was at the start of my turn and not the start of the opponent's
Man,
turn.
wouldn't that be really good?
Yes. I guess I wasn't thinking. Part of it was when he had Neon Gize, I didn't know you could ask to see the other side of Gize that was hidden in the sleeve.
Yep.
And that would have changed my plans because he had healed all the way down to like 2 damage. And I had the cards ready to do the Zoa Rhino thing, but he had only given me 1 counterblast, and I had blocked both Zeroth Dragon attacks with like just crits. And I should have taken one to just set me up for Zoa and like punch his lights out, but I didn't. I'm still salty about it. I made him play a game with me afterward and played like I, knew what Gize did properly. And I won that one, but that doesn't go on the record, so lose for me. Yeah.
That's winning when it doesn't matter.
I know that's the worst feeling. You're like, I did it. You're like, we're in a Starbucks, man. This doesn't mean anything. You just cool, I guess. It's not like it mattered though because Vince lost to Gold Paladin because Gold Paladin gonna Gold Paladin, and
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, and this guy had the OG Kirf, so good for him. And Sophie lost to Great Nature because he was playing a little bit of a different build than mine, where he was just running the Hamstay engine for some reason, and yeah, he didn't go into Zoa or anything, but just overwhelmed her pretty quick. So I'm thinking, well, that sucks, but I kind of want to keep playing because I personally am X1. I feel like this is a pattern. So round 5, we lose this one too. So I go up against Bermuda Triangle, and I'm on my Zoa turn, and I'm like, you know what? The guy can... I don't know if he has enough to... Like, I know the Bermuda G-Guards are huge, but I think I have enough of a field to, like, at least threaten him otherwise. The guy had 3 G-Guard fodders and 2 Sentinels in his hand for the Zoa turn.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he gets he does, like, all the LE G-Guards, the one that get a bedonkus amount of shield to just block Rhino. And then I restood a Field Glass Otter 3 times that had a crit on it, and he blocked it all 3 times.
Oof.
Got him.
So single tier for that. The tragedy continues, however, because Vince was playing against our friend Rin, who was playing Dark Irregulars, and Rin goes into Gilderai, and he does the skill, he flips, and he tells Vince, So plus 10 crit, no sentinels. And then he goes, no, wait, no grade 1s or higher. However, Vince didn't get the memo, I guess, because he proceeded to, he puts down a bunch of crits that he has in his hand for 3 to pass, and then Gilderoy gets crit, heal,
Amazing.
and breaks through it. But he also had 2 draw PGs in his hand that he could have used, but he misheard Rin and didn't read the card.
Ooh.
So I'm like,
Beautiful.
shit. And then Sophie gets a win against Shadow Paladin. So I'm like, we could have won this round if Vince had read properly, because I was not going to win mine. Yeah. So we ended up dropping that and proceeded to just go to side events and screw around. In terms of both days, I wore the Nexus at Night t-shirts, which that'll be on sale in a couple of weeks. So if people want to buy, if you saw me at the event, you want to buy it, you can. And I met a bunch of people who were like super cool. There was this one guy who gave me little power markers that you can keep track of 5 or 10K things, and they're made of wood, so you can paint them or whatever. So he gave me those to try out. Somebody had me sign their player badge, and it was really good. And I like that they kept it moving. Right, you got all the rounds are there wasn't any stuff where you're just like, fuck, when's the next round gonna start? So yeah, that was pretty much our 2 days. We were an abject failure, but I will always remember the Solemn Vanguard video where he's like, how come YouTubers don't top that much? And it's like, we're busy. I'm like, yeah, that's why. We're busy.
Nope, it's that we suck.
It's that we suck. I mean, I can't look. Vince and Sophie honestly did their best, and they did great when they can. I have to.
Oh no, I just met you. I think you were holding them back, Alice.
Yes, totally. That's my fault. Asshole. You cut me deep, Matt.
I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm
Yes,
kidding.
I know. I just hate how good
I
you are at
appreciate you, Alice.
sitting on the fucking on the edge there. It's so good at it. So yeah, good job to Bushiroad for keeping the event quick, and congrats to everybody who topped, which included callback David and Donna. They got into top 8. They were like, we went X1, and I was like, yeah, we went X2 and then dropped, and you were one of those. And then they were like, yep.
Yep.
It should also be noted that Aquaforce got into top 8 in premium, so Aquaforce fanboys rejoice.
So did Spikes. Shoutouts.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were a few spikes in top 8. I didn't really get a good look at everything because the judges cordoned off the top 8 tables, so you couldn't even go in there. I wanted to go in there with the camera and see if I could get just footage or something. They were like, you can't be in here, get the hell out. I'm like, alright, fine. Let's see. Going all the way down to the present. No, that's not it. I'm trying to see if Proof's Discord has just the top 8 in their stuff, but I guess not. So, that was pretty much Springfest 2019. Thanks for listening to this bonus episode. If you like this podcast or want to see us tweet memes or Root Beer's artwork, you can follow us on Twitter at Nexus at Night. You can also find us on Instagram. You can find Matt at Wiggums with 2 G's and 2 Z's, Root Beer at Plasma Eclipse, me at Atlas Novak, and have a good night, everybody.